Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our program information session on our online masters in organizational leadership. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. We're going to just give a second here for the rest of our folks to kind of funnel into the room. As we're going through and kind of waiting for folks to arrive, just want to quickly go over some of our agenda this evening. So we're going to do a program, kind of go over the program format. Our esteemed faculty lead here, Professor Ed Barrows, is going to talk a bit about our curriculum highlights, and then we're going to talk about our student overview, go through some of the application checklists, and at the end, there's going to be an opportunity for you all to ask us any questions you have, whether it be about being a student at Brown, the application process, or about the program itself. You can please feel free to use that Q&A function here anytime throughout, and we'll answer the questions at the end. So just want to introduce ourselves tonight. Again, my name is Michael McGurr. I'll be hosting this event tonight. I'm the admissions coordinator for our online programs. And Devin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Devin Costa. I am the program specialist for online graduate programs here at the School of Professional Studies. And in my role, I provide administrative and operational support to make sure all of our programs run smoothly.
Great, thank you. And Ed, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks. That's me. I'm Ed Barrows. I'm a professor of the practice of leadership and the academic director for our new Master of Organizational Leadership. Thank you for being here. We'll have a chance to chat with my esteemed colleagues about the program, some of the mechanics of it, some of the design of it, some of the things you can take away from it, and certainly welcome any questions that you have and your interest in being here.
Great, thanks, Ed. So I just want to go over our program format. Our program format for the Online Masters in Organizational Leadership, we're 100% online. So the entire program is online. It's conducted asynchronously, so you get to really work at your own pace. So our program is great for folks who are kind of full-time professionals. If you have a family, other obligations, interests and things, this program really is designed so that you can kind of work at your own pace. It is excuse me, we do have weekly optional synchronous sessions. So if you're someone who really craves that kind of one-on-one opportunity, meeting your other faculty, meeting other students in the cohort, you're going to have that option once a week during our synchronous session. We also have an optional 2.5-day in-person session throughout the semester. That's where you'll be coming up to campus, again, meeting your faculty, your other peers. So it's a really great opportunity to get some face time. The tuition for this course is $5,625 per course, and there's 2 courses per semester. And then the program runs for 4 consecutive semesters over 16 total months, and that's 8 total courses if you're doing all that math there. So it's 8 courses over 16 months. Again, that's 4 semesters. And in terms of tuition, we do offer up to 50% merit-based scholarships for students who are accepted into this program. We don't guarantee scholarships, but we are able to offer merit scholarships to students, who kind of have that really exciting background and academic history. So I'm going to pass it over to Ed here. Ed, if you want to talk a little bit about some of our curriculum highlights and why organizational leadership.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Welcome if you're here. I really appreciate it, and I know my colleagues do as well. We're really excited about this degree for a lot of different reasons. These are just the things that we say on the slide, but I have a couple of other things I'll add too. So I've had the good fortune of working, in leadership with leadership curriculum, helping design leadership programs, teaching leaders. And I think one of the things that's really useful about this degree is it's got what we think is a real world curriculum. And I think in the professional degree lineup that we have here in the School of Professional Studies, it's slightly different. It's certainly a Brown degree, but it draws on the capabilities that we have at the university in a way that enriches your learning experience, but I would say really focuses on using the degree in your day-to-day work, right? So we really hope to attract people who are managers or leaders, who are leading people or aspire to know kind of where they want to do that and how they want to top up their skills to get better at it. So at Brown, leadership really is going to be comprised of things like psychology, where we have a deep capability in our CLIPS department, sociology, political science from our Watson Institute in our School of International Affairs, ethics, change leadership, technology, and a executive leadership capstone that I get a lot of questions on, which is really aimed at helping people move into more significant roles based on enhancing their own leadership capabilities in a sort of one-on-one format. But as Mike pointed out, it's asynchronous learning. So it's very flexible. There's one synchronous session a week that's optional. We certainly encourage you to do that. I actually just ended a session that, and for one of my master's degrees to come here, but we really, the students actually enjoy coming to the session to share what they've been learning and see what's been working with the other students. We're fortunate at Brown to have a wonderful faculty network, and we've hired some amazing new faculty who will be teaching in this program. I literally spoke to another person today I'm super excited to be here to teach negotiation and power, just amazing CV and academically qualified as two. And I think this degree doesn't apply to any one career path. Just to give you a sense of the kind of people that we've been attracting, we have a very senior airline pilot who is responsible for training other pilots. We have a barrister who works in a firm in the UK. We have a basketball coach. We have someone from the Navy. We have someone from a nonprofit. We have people from healthcare. So it is our intent to have people from a wide range of experiences come to the classroom to share that with other people. If you've been a successful leader in the military, that's great, but it's not the same as leading in a nonprofit. So there's a lot of lessons to learn from one another in the classroom, and I'm super delighted to have the chance to do that. So leadership, the reality is leadership today is different than it was 10 or 20 years ago. It's probably going to change for, in 10 or 20 years. Organizations are larger, they're more complex, they're changing more rapidly. The impacts of technology, that's one of the features you'll see here. Mike, we can move ahead into the curriculum. We have an aspect you see in the last semester where it's how do we lead with emerging technology? But in the 16-month program, what we call the standard course sequence, we are working on really giving you the skills and capabilities to top up your not only your leadership theory and knowledge, but application. That's the key part. So certainly there's a foundation of leadership and management we want all students to go through to kind of ground where we are in the basic management theories and applications and strategy and leadership theories that you need to be effective in whatever organization you're in. I'm developing right now a course on ethics. I have the good fortune of teaching that in our MBA program with the IE Business School. So I just did an interview today. I've had a busy day, guys. It's been super busy. It started at 6 o'clock with a teach in Pakistan, but and we're still here. But I had an interview today with the chief human capital officer from a very large industrial gas company that works in 80 countries around the world to talk about how to create an ethical culture for 66,000 people. I mean, these are the kinds of things we want to bring into the classroom, professors who are fantastic from Brown, as well as really experienced practitioners. Organizational behavior and organizational development, everyone by and large works in some type of organization, so we want to talk about the dynamics of that. There are more teams in the workplace than ever before. So how do we become effective team members? I'm actually writing a book on it right now. Leading change, which is becoming more and more important for senior leaders and middle-level managers because we're leading change literally daily. So how do we do that and sustain the pace? The person I talked to today would hopefully teach power, politics, and negotiation, has a PhD from Brown in the topic area, and has worked in the United Nations and has actually told me he's flying overseas to do a merger negotiation. I mean, it's just incredible, some of the people. My colleagues don't even know who this is yet. That's why they're making those faces. But yeah, this literally is emerging as we're putting together, but I couldn't be more excited about it, and I'm sure my colleagues will be too. Leading with technology, and then as I mentioned a moment ago, this leadership capstone. From leadership profiles, we know from thousands of reviews of leaders who have been successful and in some cases unsuccessful in senior roles, what it takes to move up in organizations and get into the C-suite. And this course is designed to help you top up those skills if people are interested in moving ahead. And we think it's a little bit of a crown jewel along with everything else that distinguishes us from a lot of the other degrees. There's a lot of great programs out there in the School of Professional Studies. We have a lot of great programs, but we think this one is unique in terms of how it's going to appeal to not only a broad audience, but people who really want to get ahead in their careers.
Great. Thank you so much, Ed. I'm going to pass it over to Devin now. She's going to talk a little bit about the kind of student overview for our program and what it's like to be a student here on our program.
Thanks, Mike. So here are just a couple of things to keep in mind as you're considering this program. In terms of class logistics, all of our courses can be access from anywhere, anytime using Canvas Learning Platform. I've used it myself as a student. It's very user-friendly. Upon graduation, the degree awarded will be a Master's in Science and Organizational Leadership. This means that your diploma and your transcript will both say Master's in Science and Organizational Leadership. It will not include the word online. And speaking of graduation, all online graduates are invited to Brown's in-person May commencement ceremony, but we will also hold a virtual ceremony for those who aren't able to travel to Providence. One thing that we really like to make clear is that regardless of where you are, if you're in Providence, if you're in the US, if you're outside the country, you are full members of the Brown community, which gives you access to a lot of really great resources. And a couple of them are the Brown's online library, career services, which I'll get into a little bit more in depth in a moment, Brown's Virtual Foundations and Resource Center, which offers additional programming resources, like if you need to brush up on your mathematics, they can help you out with that. As well as we have a dedicated support team who will help guide you from application all the way through graduation. Great, so now we're going to get into career services, which is one of my favorite departments at Brown. One of the great benefits of Brown is taking advantage of our community, and one of the best resources is our robust career services and professional development team. Here are a couple of services you can utilize in your time with us that I highly recommend taking advantage of. As a general hub of career and development resources, you can use our virtual career center where you can explore career paths, check latest industry news, seek career advice, and keep up with other market insights. You're welcome at any time to schedule one-on-one appointments with direct career advising, which is using Handshake, which is one of our recruiting platforms for students, faculty, staff, as well as some other experts who they bring in to speak with students. And in these sessions, you can talk about jobs, internships, you can work on your resume, you can work on negotiating your job offers and working on your interviewing skills. So I highly recommend using that as a resource. The Career Services also hosts a number of in-person and virtual events connecting students with experts, networking opportunities, and all kinds of skill training. And they've brought in some pretty incredible experts. So I highly recommend that you keep an eye on those and attend those when you can. And for those interested in participating in professional development conferences, workshops, or other training, you are also able to apply for funding to cover registration and other related costs. So that's the career trajectory. Now we have kind of the more community opportunities. So like I said, we want you to immerse yourself in Brown. Regardless of where you are, you're part of the community. And there are a number of ways in which you can connect with that larger community. There's Brown Connect, which functions as a networking and career platform where students can connect with peers, alumni, as well as other professionals across a multitude of industries. Students also have access to the Brown Daily Herald, which is the weekly student letter. We also have graduate students are able to subscribe to a long variety of listservs. This includes academic resources, community updates, as well as more networking opportunities. One thing I recommend, and I think a lot of you will enjoy this, is we recommend that students join our Graduate Council, which is our governance body for graduate students. They do offer positions to online students, and it's always a great opportunity to have an impact on Brown itself. Brown also offers a wide range of identity-based centers and groups. And this includes, but is not limited to, the list you see here, which is Brown Center for Students of Color, the Global Brown Center for International Students, the Sarah Doyle Center for Women and Gender, the LGBTQ Center, and the Military Affiliated Student Group. They all organize their own events, some virtual, some in person, but these are all wonderful ways in which you can connect somewhat more personally with the different parts of our community.
Great. Thank you so much, Devin. I really appreciate it. Kind of to wrap out this session this evening before we open up our Q&A, we've heard a lot about the academic side, we've heard about the student side, and if that's piqued your interest, if you're like, I want to apply tonight, well, you certainly can. I'm going to go over a checklist here just to share how you can do that application and what some of our important dates are. So all students who are applying to this program, we do require a bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. We ask for a resume or your CV, and we are asking for folks to have at least 3 years of professional experience. As I talked about earlier, a lot of our students in this program coming to us from a variety of different backgrounds and various leadership organizations in different fields. It really is fascinating to see the backgrounds that our students are coming to us with. We ask for 3 letters of recommendation. We ask at least one of those letters be from a professional supervisor or manager. And again, you're going to need official transcripts from all institutions, but please note that the official transcripts are only required for students who will be enrolling in their first semester. So if you want to just get your application in, we can do unofficial, but if you do choose to enroll in our program, we would need those official transcripts later. And then lastly, we're looking for a personal statement. That's really just describing why you're interested in our online Masters in Organizational Leadership program. What are your career goals? How is this going to help you in your short and term and long term in your career? And then why Brown? Why is this the program for you? How is this going to help you in your career? And then for any of our students who are applying from outside of the United States, please note that we will need full international transcript evaluation for any degrees from non-US institutions. Now, please note that that international transcript evaluation is required for the application submission process. So you would need either a WES, ECE, or SpanTran evaluation in order to submit your application. And then if you're a student who English is not your primary language, your native language, you do need to submit either a TOEFL or IELTS score. Good news, you may have gotten an email today. We've actually extended our priority deadline until November 7th for spring application. So that application is live. If you wanted to join our inaugural cohort, please, you have up until November 7th to apply. Students who are interested in our fall 26 application, that will be opening on October 15th. Of course, we're happy to let you know your application fee of $100 is going to be waived for attending this program tonight. So we can, kind of remove that for you and just give you a little more incentive to get on there and get that application started. And again, just to go over some important dates that we have upcoming here, final deadline for our spring inaugural cohort is going to be November 7th. The semester begins on January 21st. Our fall application is open now will open on October 15th, and then that semester begins in September of 2026. All right, so we're going to open it up to a live Q&A. We have some questions that have come in already. I'm going to read some of those off. If you have more, please feel free to put them in that Q&A function. Ed, this first question is going to be for you. How much time should a student expect to spend on coursework here? And what does the scope of the coursework look like?
Yeah, great question. So thank you for that and for everybody being here. So the planning factor that we're using for the online courses are about 11 to 13 hours per week. So per course. So we're designing, and that's reading, that's going through the prompts, responding to things, doing assignments and the like, whether it's a journaling or filling out a prompt or a group participation to include the synchronous session. So it's a good amount of time. It's not an unmanageable amount of time. So that's what you can expect the load to be, so to speak, in each of the courses. Now, let's put that in perspective. It's a master's degree, and it's from a university that has a reputation for turning out graduates who are highly capable in the world. So as I told some of my students, it wouldn't be a degree from Brown if it was easy. So you can expect to actually, there's real literature and papers that we'll read, and I'm not being flippant to anybody, but I mean, it's intended to be, and it will be a high quality Brown program. In terms of the scope, what you'll be, I think I touched on that, in the Canvas platform that Devin was mentioning, you can expect to watch videos. We have curated content for each of the 11 to 13 hours per week. There will be literature that we will read that's selected. There's textbooks that you'll use. There's prompts that you'll respond to. There's group work you'll engage in. There's journal reflecting. There's case studies, articles, interviews, the like. So, I mean, I would say, we collectively in the university environment and ecosystem, we've learned a lot since the pandemic. We've we've been putting programs online in mass for years, and we've learned a lot more about it than, just let's put some PowerPoint slides on with a voiceover and, good luck with that. I mean, the curation of the programs in a general sense is much more sophisticated today, and it's monitored more carefully, and there's requirements. So I think the net is that you're going to have a rigorous course that's going to have a wide range of materials from which to draw. And frankly, from colleagues that you'll interact with that you will find valuable.
Great, thank you so much, Ed. We had a question in here that I think I can answer about transfer credit course. Please, if there is a course once you are a enrolled student, so that means you've applied, been accepted, and deposited, and are planning to enroll, you can reach out to myself or someone else on our staff here. We will pass that information along. Ed will make the final determination whether a course, is acceptable to be transferred in. Please note we do only accept one course that can transfer in. It must be within the last 5 years that you've taken that course, and that course be up to 4 credits, granting 4 credits. And I've got another question for you here. Can you talk a little bit about the capstone project? How is it
know about the capstone?
Is it more prescriptive or self-directed?
I'm not sure it's either one of those things, but I would say it probably leans towards some self-direction. So one of the things we want to do at the end of the course is work with students in small groups with some type of faculty advisor on an action learning project of their choosing. And over the course of the 14 classes, we'll be injecting a new skill that they will work on and apply to their action learning project, which is unique to their organization or one of their choosing, such as a volunteer organization if you're in a career transition. That's another topic I'll be out to hit on. So the idea is that you will work on setting a vision. How do you set a vision for your project, for your organization? You'll work on how do I improve written communication skills and verbal communication skills? How do I ensure that I am building relationships and collaborating with the people across my organization I need to work with? How do I make sure that I'm building my network? So it's a lot of important skills that we know that leaders need to start building. So my personal view is, and it's probably been injected into the course for better or worse, is I think there's a lot of great project work that goes on out there. And oftentimes project capstones are, let's get on a team and do a consulting assignment. And those are great. They are great. What I want us to do, what I hope my colleagues, I think, are on board with, is putting together something that enables each student to go out confident in his or her ability to take on more responsibility as a leader in their organization or whatever organization they choose to work in.
Great, thank you, Ed. I had another question I think I can hopefully answer for you. A student asked they'll be completing their master's degree, but it's not being conferred until May. Should I wait till then to provide you my unofficial transcripts? So you are able to apply and submit those unofficial transcripts to us. Again, we just need official transcripts minimally from your undergraduate institution in order to enroll you in the program. Another admissions related question we have here that hopefully can answer for you. They asked about having minimum 3 years experience, that they have around 8 to 10 experience. Please note that 3 years is kind of our minimum that we're looking for. As Ed mentioned earlier, we have folks who have any range from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years of experience coming in from a variety of different programs. Ed, I don't know if you want to maybe just speak a little bit about that.
We have to put a minimum in that's 3 years because we want people to have some leadership experience. My aim or my preference, and I think for most people that I see in our programs across the board, would be, and there's no, to Mike's point, which is a good one, there's no like you must have, I think people in that sort of 10 to 15-ish year range, we would, that's what we're seeing as sort of the kind of the mean, if you will. And if anything, maybe a little bit on the higher side. And I think that's because this degree, a lot of people are in managerial or leadership roles and they've never had any formal training. I think leadership is kind of a peculiar science, so to speak. You learn leadership in a lot of different ways. Oh, I learned it from my mom and dad, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I went to a civic organization or a church organization. I learned on a sports team, or my first 2 bosses. I mean, we all learn leadership kind of in a patchwork kind of way. But I think there are people that want to come back and say, I'd really like to survey the literature and understand what the state of the art in terms of research and practice is, so that I understand and feel comfortable I'm going into my job, my responsibilities as someone who understands what the range and scope of leadership practices and theory looks like.
Great, thank you so much, Ed. And the last part of that question was how long should their personal statement be? And I think for that, really, we're just as long sometimes as it needs to be, 2 to 3 pages. We're generally looking for. Again, really looking to hit on those topics of kind of why Brown, why now, and how does this program fit into your long and short term goals?
Yeah, I think if Mike, can I just dovetail on that? I
Yeah,
mean, since I
absolutely.
have the good fortune of looking at everybody's applications personally, along with Mike and the team, it's not a one-person job. I think your aims and goal with the degree are really, really important. So, and it usually comes across pretty quickly who has a clear aim and who does not. And it comes across usually in the first couple of sentences around what someone wants to do with the degree. And my colleagues may not love this, but this is not a great degree for a career changer. And don't kill me for saying that. Because, and while Devin is absolutely right, we have awesome career services to help you. We don't have a population of firms yet anyway that at the end we're putting you into the leadership consulting pool that are waiting to hire you. When I went to undergrad, I was an accounting major, and at the end, there are all these accounting firms that were desirous of hiring graduates. So this is not that. And I say that because I've had a few conversations where people say, oh, this is going to really help me transition. I would just be really careful of that, because I'm not convinced that the degree will help you transition into a different role. It might. I think what I've seen is people who are successful in their applications are saying, here's what I'm doing. I boil it down to 2 questions. Who are you leading now or plan to be leading in the near future? And how is this going to help you lead them more effectively? I think if you can answer those questions, that's great. And if you have an idea of what that's going to look like, that's great too. If it's, I think I might need to change careers and do something totally different, I just don't know if this degree will help you with that. I just want to give you full disclosure. It's not like an MBA, which is you're going to learn the harder skills, accounting, finance, marketing, operations, and then you can go get a job in an organization that's looking for someone with general manager experience or general management knowledge and skills. This is a little different. It's sort of human centric. So it's more important that we have a sense of who are the humans we're going to be working with to use the degree more effectively.
Great, thank you. We really appreciate that insight. We did have a student ask, when will Spring 27 be available? You can expect that to be available later this coming spring into summer. We'll certainly send out information. If you're at this event tonight, you'll be getting emails from us to let you know when that application will open. And then the last question I see here, and again, if you do have any other questions, please feel free to put them in here as we kind of answer this last question. We had a question about financial aid being applied for in the application process. You could certainly apply beforehand. Just note that if you are an accepted student, we will send you information to our financial aid office. You're welcome to reach out to them beforehand. And if you need that contact information, you can only find it on our website for our graduate financial aid office, but you can reach out to any of us here this evening and we can help put you in contact with them. All right.
And you can always send me an email too, edward_barrows@brown.edu, if you have a question. Any of the hard questions like financial aid or career services, Mike and Devin are the go-to for that. Anything around the curriculum or the teaching or the courses, like that's my power alley. So people call me up and like, who should I talk to in financial aid? It's like, Mike, not me. So if you apply for financial aid with me, you will never get a response. So definitely don't do that.
Yeah. Ed is our faculty guy, and he will answer that. Don't ask me because I was a history major, so I can't be much help with that. But again, Ed will definitely help you with our
Don't sell
curriculum.
yourself short, Mike.
We had a student ask if they can change their start date. You can defer after being accepted, but please note that scholarships are applied towards the semester you applied, so we can't guarantee your scholarship should you defer to another semester. We had a question here about the size of the cohort. Do we anticipate? So this is our inaugural cohort. happy to report we've had a great process so far. We have,
We have actually,
around
yeah.
20 some students, I think, in our cohort so far. We hope that's where we're going to land around, but that's what we're anticipating for both this semester and future semesters in our 20s for our cohort.
Yeah, we'll be doing two. I think the cadence that we have here at Brown in general for our professional type programs is kind of a fall and a spring start. That's, you know, that's kind of when we launch people. And I think to Mike's point, the cohort sizes at this point in time are, I think, in that 25 person. But, you know, I don't think we have a cap. I don't think we'll be a lot more than that, but we certainly do hope over time as the program gets out and people get excited about it, you know, that we see an increase in the volume of applications, because I think we have a lot of really interesting people coming, and I think that's one of the questions that I'll get. It's like, hey, who's going to be in the cohort? It's like, yeah, we're picking people that we think will really bring a rich experience, and I do think it's worth mentioning that. I'm laughing because I just got off the office hours with this. Every class that I teach here at Brown and the ones I've seen, and I shouldn't say class, cohort, is the cohort, and this is no surprise, the cohort always sets up a WhatsApp group and they always sort of create their own identity. So the Brown spirit is alive and well, whether you're physically on campus or sharing electrons in the virtual space. The Brown spirit tends to come through. So it may feel like, oh, I'm not, you know, but the comment that was made, I don't know if Mike or you said it, Devin, you're still 100% part of Brown. Doesn't matter where you are. And I think that the people that I work with here, the students, they absolutely are getting that experience.
Right. And I think that's a great one for us to take it home with. So we want to thank you all for attending here tonight. We really had some great questions. If you had a question that maybe we weren't able to answer tonight, please feel free to reach out to us. Again, onlinemasters_admissions@brown.edu. As Ed mentioned, you can reach out to Ed as well. We can put you right in contact with him. We will be sending out this recording tonight. So if there's any information you missed, we will be sending that out to you. You can make an appointment with our graduate recruitment coordinator. They're a fantastic group of employees who can really help you, get the questions you have answered about this program. So again, we want to thank you all for attending tonight. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you again to Ed and Devin for your insights, both into the student process and the academic process. We hope to see your application come through. Again, one last reminder, you do have until November 7th to apply for our inaugural spring cohort. So we hope to see that application come on through. So you all have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see your application soon. Good night.
Thank you. Take care.